Hello everybody, welcome into Talladega Superspeedway for the weekly Dash for the Cash series. Presented by Jimmy Crow Money Racing. Drivers currently in qualifying. Let's get some things ready as the drivers are currently getting ready to go. Taking a look here at Steve Korosek on track in the 27 truck. One of the fastest qualifiers. However, his streak did come to an end last time we were live on air. He got beat out by one of his Dale Cup teammates, Cody Nagels. And we'll see if that trend can get reversed and Korosek can get himself back on the pole tonight. Looked like a pretty strong field. I believe we have over 20 trucks. We will have the official number in, of course, when qualifying's over. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday night as you're getting out here. Just had the real-life Xfinity race wrap up at Las Vegas. And we have a doubleheader tonight here on Ghost Racing Network. We'll get a little bit more into that as we go on, but after this race at 10 o'clock, so the stream will start about 5 minutes early, I am going to be heading over to the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Reyes. Getting really excited for that. They are also going to be at Talladega Superspeedway tonight, coincidentally enough, in the NASCAR Truck Series. So make sure you get tuned into that. Steve Korosek, this will be his lap this time. Let's get down trackside, though, where we can actually see the trucks. And there he goes, dives down to the apron. Look how close he gets to the grass here. Won't quite get on it. If you get on it, that ruins your lap. And if you get any X, even if it counts as a 0, the lap won't count. Korosek makes sure he doesn't have that issue. And it looks like obviously going to top the board right now as he is the first driver to put a time down. Here's Ambrose Kniebel out of Gold Bar, Washington, rocking the Alive and Running Suicide Awareness and Prevention paint scheme. One of his two most famous paint schemes, the other one being a Miller Lite paint scheme. Ambrose almost got the win. One of the races we were doing a couple broadcasts ago, just barely lost it at the line, so we're hoping to see maybe the 04 can get himself a win tonight. We'll have to find out. Looks like this is going to be his lap right here, and he's already a little bit off that yellow, so it's not looking too fast just yet. He's going to have to try to hold it a little lower. See him on the track map there, getting ready to dive down into turn 3 as Duck Duck says, let's go, Ambrose. Ambrose always one of the fan favorites out here in the super speedway racing. And we'll get that tower refresh right after Ambrose completes his lap. And you see already 15 trucks qualified, and we still have quite a bunch more. We may have close to 30 trucks now is what it's looking like. Everybody's still filing in here at the last couple moments before we are getting ready to get started. And with a minute and 30 seconds left in qualifying, Ambrose Kniebel crosses the line and puts himself, let's see, looks like he is going to go 17th on the board. Let's look if there's anyone else. That looks like Kevin Fraze. Love the profile picture. I mean, come on. He's got Ted. If you haven't seen Ted, you need to go watch it. One of the funniest movies of all time. But Kevin Fraze, one of the really good pushers. One of the, I don't want to say better drivers out here. That's not a word. But there's some of these guys that everybody, you know, when they pop in the lobby, they go, oh, that guy's here. They know Kevin Fraze is, and they know how fast he is. But it looks like he's actually just going to pull it over. Maybe he realizes he's not going to have time to put down a lap. Not sure. John Ellis Jr., though, he is going to try to put down a lap. Give the SDK a quick refresh here. Not that it matters, as we only have about 45 seconds left here in qualifying. It looks like we have 21 trucks rather, that have qualified so far. Sitting on the pole as of right now is still Steve Korosek. It looks like John Ellis Jr. is going to finish it off, and he is also going to pull it in. Currently qualified himself 15th on the board. We will start getting this stuff down and getting ready to go, because I believe that is going to be the last truck we will see out on track. Actually, it looks like Patrick Groover is going to see if he can maybe get a lap time down real quick before this thing's all said and done. Or maybe he's just practicing a pit stop. Nope, looks like he is. Sure enough, going to try to ride it to the line here. He was up the track, so this is not a pole run by any means. But it's going to be really close on if he can cross the line. Looks like he is going to make it across at the last second. White flag in the air. That wraps up qualifying for tonight, and we will get some things set up and meet you back trackside in just a moment. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everybody, officially now into Talladega Superspeedway. It's the Dash for the Cash Series. Let's jump right into your race info. The Dash for the Cash Series is presented by Jimmy Crow Money Racing. Get right into your race format. It is going to be the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series tonight. 31 laps, 45% fuel, unlimited tires, one fast repair, and it is fixed setups. But something that I just learned last week makes it a little interesting is while it is fixed setups, it's not the actual fixed setup. It is an open setup that Jimmy Crow has given to all these drivers to run. Makes them run a little faster, a little bit better is the idea of it. We are at the massive, bad, fast Talladega Superspeedway, 2.65 mile giant super speedway oval. Temperature on track is going to be 65 degrees. Looks like track temp is pretty cool right now as well. 1 mile per hour wind, cloudy skies, and no humidity. So these trucks are going to run fast. Pushing going to be the name of the game. And let's get it into your starting grid. Starting on the pole tonight, back where he wanted to be, is going to be Steve Korsek in the 27. Almost got the championship last night in Dale Cup. He's going to see if he can win himself some money tonight. Starting second, the outside pole for tonight is going to be Cody Nagels. That is a Dale Cup / Limitless team driver. Third, Andrew Navarro. Good to see the Road to Pro driver back in here tonight. Vicente Guerrero starts fourth. Row 3 is going to be Matt Lee and Jeff Merck. 7th, Richard Sanchez. Garrett Maines starts 8th. Seth Groover starts 9th. His outside is going to be Joe Delavicia. 11th, Dude Conrad. 12th is going to be Donald Sadusky. Moving right down the field, Danny Eshelman 13th. David Sheets, McCall Motorsports driver 14th. John Ellis Jr. starts 15th. 16th is going to be Keith Horner. Jay Dargert starts 17th. Jason Maines to his outside in 18th. Row 10 is going to be made up of Nash Brambilla and Ambrose Knievel. John Mullahan starts 21st and his outside. Kevin Fraze in 22nd. 23rd, Patrick Gruber. 24th, Christopher McCall. 25th, McCall Motorsports owner Ken McCall Jr. 26th, Joey Allen. And rounding out the field tonight in 27th is going to be Eddie Hawks. That is another McCall Motorsports driver. And as we said, that's a pretty strong field. Almost 30 cars here on a Saturday night. It is an early race. That might be why we're just seeing a little bit of a cap on the field, but nothing to be ashamed of, that's for sure. And these guys are going to put on a heck of a show because we got a lot of powerhouses. But Steve Korsek, give him a shout out, the driver out of Cleveland, Ohio, one of the Dale Cup founders. Does have one of his teammates in Cody Nagels right beside him. And we'll see. Those two work very well together. Vicente Guerrero, another Dale Cup driver, but not on Team Dale Cup, I don't believe. Let's get it back on laps. Steve, I don't think I ever see him ride the pace laps up on the banking. He always likes to go down here on the apron. Got to be something to it. Duck Duck said, let's go Ambrose. The GoCock 76 says, let's go McCall Motorsports. And Duck Duck says, a lot of good drivers tonight. And boy, is that true. Baker didn't make it. Yeah, it's a little surprising. I thought we would see Baker. I know he had said he paid earlier. Not sure, but either way, too late to join now. So we are ready to bring these trucks to life here. The fans are on their feet. Steve Korsek leading the field into the Geico restart zone for the first time. It's going to be go on green.
Green flag.
And there it is. Green flag is out. We are racing at Talladega. Good initial start from both lanes. Nobody having any issues right now getting up to speed. And they are already 3 wide as they dive into turn 1. Jeff Merck is going to get help from Garrett Maines. They did not want to sit behind. They now duck back in line. And they're going to leave someone out. I can't tell who that is. It might be Donald Sadusky. Yep, sure enough, it looks like that is who it's going to be. Donald Sadusky in the 19. Now they jump back out of line. So Garrett Maines pushing Jeff Merck. They have Donald Sadusky further back. Looks like Ambrose Knievel already taps the wall. And just like that, we are 3x3 into turn 3 for about 4 rows deep. And coming out of turn 4 for the first time, Andrew Navarro has already found the lead as Steve Korsek has linked up with his teammate Cody Nagels. This first lap might be a drag race to the line. Andrew Navarro does have Matt Lee. Those two have worked together before. And you see just how hard everybody is pushing already. That first lap is going to go to Jeff Merck, though, in the 60 up top. Something a little bit more important tonight than usual is going to be sticking with who you like the best, not so much controlling lanes. And we saw that early as Steve Korsek decided to go to the middle so he could stick with one of his teammates that he knows well in Cody Nagels. And right now it doesn't look to be working out, but I think those two trust each other a lot more than being split up. But Garrett Maines is trying to get Jeff Merck out in front. Can't do it this time. But the pack still 3x3. Got to be careful early here. We still have, as long as we don't get a caution, that is, which right now I think we might get one, but we will have a pit stop. That's going to come into play with only 45% fuel, maybe 2 pit stops. So right now I think we're going to see a little bit of a split strategy. You got these guys that want to get to the front as soon as possible. And then we have the strategy of some of these guys that are sitting further back out of this pack, and it's going to start. See who it starts with back here. Looks like it is going to be Danny Esserman is still in the pack. Just a couple cars behind him, though. Looks like David Sheets going to be the first truck hanging out of the pack. He's got Christopher McCall, one of his teammates. Ken McCall Jr. is also hanging back there. Eddie Hawks as well. And these 4, we've seen this before, is up front. They're going 4 wide. We don't even have time to be back here. Oh, I saw one get turned in the back. Not sure if they held on to it or not. It looks like no harm, no foul. I could have swore I saw someone get turned. We don't have time to go back and look at it because the action is staying packed up front. But you see everybody got split up. So actually, I think we will go back and take a look at this just real quick. So hopefully we can do it before these guys get all the way back to 3 wide. It looked like something happened, but it was kind of hard to tell. Let's look from the TV3 cam here and see if this gives us any insight. It was somewhere back in the field. I know that. If it was going to happen, at least it was somewhere back here. And from this view, it looks like nobody had any issues. Yeah, nobody had any issues here, but up front there was a stack up of something. Watch it here down the back. Everybody, you're going to see a bunch. Ooh, that's what it was. Jeff Merck got loose. They almost got 4 wide. Everybody darting out of the way. And this is, oh, there you go. That was where it was. The 37, that's the Hooters truck, got turned around. Caution is out. Let's go back live. Everybody up here seems to be okay. This must have been further back. Sure enough, it is. That's David Sheets, Matt Lee. Ambrose Kniebel is in it. Joey Allen looks like he may be okay. I don't see any damage on that truck just yet. Christopher McCall, though, he's totaled. So this is interesting. If this happened at the front or back, a lot of the back runners at the time are in it. But a couple of the front runners were also in it as well, such as Matt Lee. So let's go see what happens here, because I guess it is going to start at the front. And apparently we cannot do replays during the live race, because just like that, something's going to happen. All right, watch the 04 here. We're going to go find him first. And the wreck has already happened here, so let's back it up even more. All right, here you go. The 04 Matt Lee. Looks like Richard Sanchez is behind him just a little bit more. We'll back this up. Take a look from the chopper view first, see if we can see any contact being made. The 04 is that third truck on that bottom line. And here you go. Let's see. Looks like the 42 engine Varls giving a pretty good push here to Garrett Maines. Everybody seems to be okay. Oh, it looks like maybe he's getting Garrett Maines just a little offset. Still fine, though. Garrett Maines takes. Oh, wow. That is going to be a huge net code from the back bumper of the 42. And that just puts on the brakes for Matt Lee. Nothing he could do at all. That sends him into the grass after he got tagged by the 02, who also just had nowhere to go. The 02 is Seth Groover, rocking the new M&M's paint scheme. But here we go. Matt Lee coming back up the track. You see he's trying really hard to keep this thing down, but now he's going to lock it up. When you lock it up, sometimes it just goes straight slides. Here we go. Right up into McCall Motorsports is David Sheets, Ken McCall Jr., Christopher McCall. They're all in it. And then Ambrose Kniebel, he's going to slide in as well. And this one was a lot more of a mess than I think it initially looked like. And that was a bad wreck from McCall Motorsports, who seemed like they were playing the right strategy by sitting back, hoping to actually avoid this. But just like that, they get involved. Let's back it up and take a couple more views of this here. And I mean, that net code was absolutely absurd. So the first view, let's take here with Matt Lee himself. Let's ride on board. Watch this. And I mean, you saw it there, just nothing he could do. Could never have even guessed it was coming too. Probably caught him by surprise, actually. And then watch the rest of the field here. This is where it is going to get gnarly, as a lot of these guys just had nowhere to go. Let's watch David Sheets' view. Here you go. One more shot of it from the blimp cam. Boom. Just like that, Matt Lee back up the track after sliding through the grass. And I know some people are maybe saying, why did he go back up the track? You saw it when we rode on board with him. He had that wheel cranked as far as he could to the left. But sometimes once you get the brakes locked up, it just doesn't want to turn anymore. And that looked to be the case there. Either way, brings out your first caution. It mostly takes out McCall Motorsports drivers and Matt Lee as well. The good news is everybody does have a faster pair. Bad news is they didn't want to have to use it this early. Let's go over your top 5, though, as they stand right now. It's going to be Garrett Maines sitting in first. Coca-Cola Series driver having no problems leading this thing. Second, Steve Korsek, your pole sitter. Third is going to be Cody Nagels, his teammate. Vicente Guerrero, fourth, and rounding out the top 5. How about John Ellis Jr.? Currently up 10 spots from where he started. And even if these guys pit now, they're not going to be good to go. We may have missed the first round of pit stops. We'll see if anybody does come down here. And it looks like they are not. As the Big Show 24 says, netcode seems to be getting worse and worse. You're telling me? I don't think I've seen one that bad, though, in a while. I mean, from the back, too. And you'd think maybe, if anything, it'd spin the truck out in front, but just absolutely totaled the truck behind. Let's see how some of the guys are doing that were in the pits. David Sheets gets that 06 truck back out on track. It is clean, and it will be fast. Problem for him, though, is it looks like he is not on the lead lap. And there you go. 1 lap down as he sits. Andrew Navarro also out on track. And that Eddie Hawk still sitting in pit road. Christopher McCall, Ambrose Knievel, Joey Allen. I could not tell. It didn't look like Joey actually really got any significant damage. Truck still looks pretty clean, so hopefully that was the case. Nash Brambilla in the 18 gets back out on track. So does Jay Dargert. Jason Maines looks like he's got a new paint scheme on that truck, and it is going to be a Ryko Performance, excuse me. Still got the ChevyLiners.com though on the back bumper, and I like that paint scheme. Pretty looking blue. The bright yellow and the bright blue seem to go together pretty well, and I think they'd like to get a 1-2 finish with him. Jason Maines going to have a lot of work ahead of him, though, if he wants to catch his teammate and son, Garrett Maines, who is currently leading the field. He is going to choose to start on this inside lane. I'm not sure if we do lane choice here in the dash for the cash, but if they do, Garrett Maines may be picking the bottom here so that he can break up that dangerous duo of Steve Korsek and Cody Nagels. The 25, Kevin Fraze, he is one of the drivers that hasn't wasted any time getting to the front either. We told you he'd be a big hitter, up 17 positions from where he started. Let's look at the manufacturers real quick that are in tonight's race. There you go. Per the usual, it's going to be a Sea of Chevys with a Ford, a Toyota inside the top 15, it looks like, and a couple more Toyotas throughout the field. Andrew Navarro, the last Toyota running, and Richard Sanchez, the first non-Chevy driver in the field, sitting in 8th. Couple quick stats there for you. What is Garrett Maines thinking here? Does he think about going up top if he gets clear, or does he stay committed to the bottom? We know Garrett's one of those drivers not scared to go where he needs to go to keep himself in position. A lot of guys, they want to get to the bottom. They feel the safest there, but it's not always the fastest lane. A lot of times we see actually the top lane is the faster way around. And here we go, rolling into the Geico restart zone for the second time side by side to wrap up your first caution of the night. Garrett Maines, Steve Korsek, Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero. Green flag is back out in the dash for the cash. Getting through the gears, boy, Cody Nagels already to the back bumper. You see Steve Korsek actually has a little bit of a dent in the back bumper. That is just from hard pushing, and that dent might get a little bigger as the night goes on because these guys are just going to continue to get more and more aggressive. And as the field roaring their way off the turn 2, getting up to speed. See what kind of speeds they can get up to. This is the first lap. They won't have max speed, but once they really get up, they can get up to 190s, low 190s. Further back in the draft, looks like Ken McCall Jr. and a couple more this time are going to hang back as they didn't like what they saw last time. 188, though, getting up to speed right there. And how about we show you the driver's input? A little faint, a little hard to see, but there you go. Watch the wheel here from Garrett Maines. It is not going to move much, and we'll actually ride on board with them so you can see it side by side. Look how smooth his wheel is right there. You saw it get a little bit more jerky, but that's just because there is a couple bumps. And right here, when that wheel moves a little bit, that means he is getting pushed. And that wheel is probably going to start to move around more and more the more he gets pushed. Up front, we might see a little bit of pushing in the corners. The further back you go, you won't see pushing at all, even on the straightaways. And here comes the third line being led by Donald Sadusky in the 19. He wants to get back to the front as soon as possible. And what does the 27, Steve Korsak, think about doing? Does he stay where he is, or does he think about jumping to the outside? And that 19 does have some front damage, and it does not seem to be affecting him at all on the left side and the left front. Jeff Merck, though, is going to just continue to push him all the way to the front. Jay Dargert and the 23, Joseph Allen. A couple more guys that are trying to work their way up here. Joe Delavicia in the 52 Yahoo. Actually, that's Nesquik, the Chips Ahoy machine. He is currently one of the last trucks on that inside line in this Hornet's Nest. And I always thought if you're where he is, maybe you got to back out right now. You can't win it from back there, especially not with 22 laps to go. But these guys showing no fear right now, and this is just how good the racing here is on the Dash for the Cash Saturdays. 3 wide. You see the back end of Garrett Maines wiggling back and forth. Him and the 6 truck must not be linking up too well, and Steve Korsak's going to take advantage. He drops low. Steve Korsak riding around the bottom, trying to hug that yellow. Garrett Maines trying to push him, hoping he can get out so he could jump back out of line. Vicente Guerrero in the 14 truck. In the 25, Kevin Fraze, one of the best pushers in the business. We've heard it from a couple different people, and he is trying to push the 14 all the way to the lead. Vicente Guerrero did get the win a week ago in Dale Cup. And if anybody doesn't know what Dale Cup is, the reason it's important in terms of these money races is just about every driver that I have seen come over from Dale Cup to these money races is just as competitive as any of the pros we've seen. And that's why you see a couple of them out front, and Steve Korsak and Vicente Guerrero. Looks like Vicente maybe gets clear here. Does he drop down? Not yet. He's not going to take it in the 25. Kevin Fraze is going to have to back off and let that 25 get a little bit of fresh air right here. The 6, Cody Nagel's third truck in line, not on the bumper. Garrett Maines still giving everything he's got to the back bumper of Steve Korsak. And what's so impressive to me is some of these guys, how they can push so hard for so long and not have any issues with temps. John Ward says, missed the race again. But that is one of the McCall Motorsports drivers, and that's who he's rooting them on tonight. 3 wide, further back. Jeff Merck got to the outside of Donald Sadusky. Nash Brambilla is going to jump out of line here in the 18. Good to see Nash back in the Truck Series here. Jimmy Crow Money Racing. And Jeff Merck looks like he might be the best pusher right now because that truck has a little bit of damage in different areas of it. So I don't think he wants to be leading just to the inside, though, of Nash Brambilla is going to be, I believe, the only Team 3 driver in the field tonight, and that is John Mullahan of Cross Lanes, West Virginia. Jason, oh, the 18 is going to get turned. Oh, my goodness, he keeps into the outside wall. That is Nash Brambilla. Well, let's go back to him here. Oh, heavy damage on the right side of the 18. And you saw right there he had got turned at the last second. Let's hurry up and look at this before they wreck again because we've seen them do this. But, wow, I cannot believe he kept this from going back into the field, though. Watch this. Going to get a little wiggle right there. Boom. Just, oh, my goodness, hard hit into the outside wall. But he did not hit anybody else in the field. One more quick look at it from TV1 here. This is just going to be a little bit of a bad shot here from Jeff Merck. You can't push in the trial, and this right here is why. Right there, you see he's on his bumper, and this is going to just offset him. Nash tries to correct, and then Jeff Merck's going to give him another little tap up into the outside wall right here. He thought he was going to come down onto the field. I think that wall helped him save it, and then just nose dives it back into the wall. Nice job, though, of holding on to by the 18. He is going to need a caution, though. Get back up, and it's Steve Korsak still leading the way with Vicente Guerrero to his outside. Garrett Maines still running on that second row. Truck on the inside. To his outside is Kevin Fraze. Cody Nagels has fallen back to the third truck on the inside line. And with only 18 laps to go, let's do a Saturday Dash for the Cash. Crank it up. Here we go. And you saw just how chaotic and hectic it got. That is going to do it, though, for tonight. Sigma to crank it up. And look at this. Garrett Maines found a way to take the lead back. Must have found a spot to jump to the outside. Got right. A big push from, I believe it would have been Kevin Fraze, and jumps right back in front of the 14. Garrett Maines back out in the lead. Kevin Fraze second. Third, Vicente Guerrero. Fourth, Richard Sanchez. Rounding out the top 5 right now is going to be Steve Korosek. But you saw these guys were not full throttle further back in the pack. You just can't be when you're 3 wide. Everybody just playing with inches. They've tried 4 wide here before. They can make it work if they really want. Hasn't seemed to be the trend, though, so far tonight, but they have been aggressive, so I'm not going to rule it out just yet. 15 laps, though, to go. We are still going to have to see a pit stop. Just a matter of when and who goes, who stays out later. Talking about some of the drivers with issues. David Sheets not with the rest of the pack. A lap down. He's looking for a caution. Nash Brambilla, another one of those drivers staying out, hoping for a caution as he has heavy right side damage to his 18 truck. Oh, Garrett Maines. Oh, Vicente Guerrero got all over the back bumper. That was really risky doing it in the corner. Garrett Maines holds onto it. And I think if that was any of these other guys in the field, they might be wanting to drop out of this pack and go to the back right now. Garrett looks unfazed, though, right now, as he is going to stay up here, try to keep a steady wheel. Donald Sadusky, the 19, to the outside. We've seen him try this a couple of times. Hasn't worked, but he's going to get a new drafting partner here, and it's going to be the 23 of Joey Allen. Behind them is going to be the 37 of Keith Horner, who we saw have a pretty wicked save earlier down the backstretch. He got turned out of line. Held on to it, got a caution right after, and it may have been for the best of him because he was not involved in that caution with that. Haven't seen a lot of noise so far tonight from the Gruber bros. Seth Gruber currently running in 15th. Patrick Gruber currently running in 11th. But you see they've got different paint schemes tonight, and it's kind of throwing me for a loop. I'm used to seeing the Mario and Luigi. Garrett Maines has jumped back up to the top lane. I'm not sure if he just didn't really like the push from that 14 anymore. We saw him get really loose a couple of different times. And sometimes it just is. Certain trucks have a better connection. But boy, the 25 of Kevin Fraze isn't making the 31 any more stable right now from what it looks like. Donald Sadusky still trying to creep his way up. That third lane has just not made a lot of progress so far tonight. And I think the reason we're not seeing more takers in these first 3 rows is with that pit stop coming up. You don't want to have to be fighting for the bottom as the rest of the field makes their way down the pits. Further back, here's the McCall Motorsports group playing it extra conservative as 3 of their cars that they brought out tonight, 3 of the trucks rather, were all involved in that first wreck. Eddie Hawks, that's a pretty good looking paint scheme there. It looks like a newer one from McCall Motorsports. Good to see Nash Brambilla. Ambrose Kniebel as well. Last truck on the back of this lead draft. He was another driver involved. Here we go, pit stops underway. Can everybody get in safely? Looks good so far. And Steve Korosek leading the way. Wow, they are 4 wide here on pit road. That's Jay Dargert, Andrew Navarro, Jeff Merck. They got to be careful here. Everybody's got to get to their pit stall. And it looks like they are all going to sort it out. A couple guys going to pit road, so they ghost. But Steve Korosek did lead the field in. We'll see if he can lead the field out. And this is where the real race is getting ready to start. If you didn't get any penalties getting on, you got to make sure you get out clean, stick with the draft. And then it's going to be catching that lead pack. Here we go, Steve Korosek. The rest of the field all racing it out. Looks like they all did get out okay. So far, at least. Now everybody trying to shuffle for position. Got to be careful. Oh, looks like one of the trucks just creeped above that yellow line. Hopefully he does not get a penalty. This long draft is all going to try to run fast. Here we go. We're going to see the rest of the field pit now. A lot of tire lockups here. Can't everybody get it slowed down in time? Big tire lockup. A little bit of contact with Joey Allen in the 37 as well. They were able to hold on. 37, Keith Horner. Good job anywhere. Oh, the 15. Seth Gruber. Oh, no. What happened? Or is that Patrick Gruber? That is Patrick Gruber, actually. Excuse me. Oh, what happened here? Did I miss something? Did he hit the wall? Let's see what happens here. Oh, he may have gotten turned into his box. Let's zoom in on him here. See if we can get a switch camera. Here you go. Watch the 50. Watch Donald Sadusky behind him because I think this is where it's going to happen. You see, he's going to try to dart to his box. He's not sure where it is. There he goes. Tries to go in. The 19 on the left side of pit road turns him into the wall. Yikes. And that is not good news for Patrick Gruber. Garrett Maines, just getting back out on track. Where's the rest of the pack? There they are. Further back, being led by Steve Korosek. And it is going to be like a train coming through right here. They're not going to be able to defend it. Or will we see anybody maybe try to do it? It wouldn't be a good idea. Maybe I should have put it that way. Doesn't mean we won't see anybody do it. But Steve Korsak still marching through the pack. He's got Vicente Guerrero and Cody Nagels behind him. And there's a little 3-truck breakaway with Garrett Maines, Kevin Fraze, and John Ellis Jr. That is not going to last long, as it looks like Jeff Merck is coming back down pit road. May have had a penalty. Nash Brambilla, David Sheets now both 1 lap down. And there you go, 3 wide to the outside. Steve Korsak trying to get clear of the 31. Garrett Maines, he does. He's going to be able to pull Vicente Guerrero with him. And that's going to leave Cody Nagels up top. Will we see anybody try to drop to the bottom? No, the 6 actually able to squeak it in line right at the last second. Slams the door on Garrett Maines. And Christopher McCall, the only truck on the bottom. Here you go. Going to get some help from his teammate, Ken McCall Jr. But just like that, those 3 trucks all drop to the bottom. Open it up to Garrett Maines in the middle. And that's where he's going to stay, as he is getting a push now from Kevin Fraze. Boy, Steve Korsak, great pit stop, nicely executed. And a couple of his fellow Dale Cup drivers going to stick behind him right here, as there's nowhere to go. But Garrett Maines is getting another big run on the outside. 10 laps to go, going to be 9 this time at Talladega. No more pit stops. It looks like Karen Gruber says, way to go to get turned into the pits. Dang. And I can understand your frustration. Garrett Maines drops low, but yeah, that's one of those things as a driver, it's a lot of times pretty aggravating, because you're saying to yourself, why are you running on the left side of pit road if your pit stop is still further ahead than mine? And I'm sure Gruber's not too happy about it right now. He is going to need a caution. Patrick Gruber is back drafting with David Sheets right now. Seth Gruber also not with the lead pack, so the Gruber bros, who we usually see pretty strong, not their best night right now. But let's look at the track map. Actually, I think Seth Gruber may have been on the back of the lead pack here. Ooh, he's close. He's not quite, but they're in range to catch it if they work. And now we're going to see 2 of the McCall Motorsports drivers. They are ready to go, and it's going to be the teammates Christopher McCall and Ken McCall Jr. Andrew Navarro, though, is going to jump to the top before they have a chance to get there. He gets help from Matt Lee. That pushes Kevin Fraze back to the middle with Garrett Maines. Steve Korsak taking the lead again on the bottom. Vicente Guerrero pushing. Ooh, Steve Korsak's going to jump up to the top. He better hold on. Garrett Maines is not going to let off now. On the outside, Andrew Navarro is wiggling back and forth. Matt Lee had to bail out of it. And Steve Korsak gets back clear. Will he drop down low? He might have to, because Garrett Maines gets clear. I think the 31 is going to try to play some mind games with the 27 right here. And who takes the risk first? Ooh, Kevin Fraze looks like he might be signaling for that 31 to drop low. Can Korsak put the block in time if that becomes the case? What will we see here? Garrett Maines staying committed, though, right now, showing a lot of patience. 7 laps to go this time. Now he's going to drop to the outside. Not what I expected. That pushes Steve Korsak to the middle. He couldn't drop down in front of Vicente Guerrero in time. Wow, what a move from the 25 and the 31. Oh, they're wrecking out back, wrecking big. Caution is out. Steve Korsak's in it. The 21 is in it. Christopher McCall, John Mullihan, more contact with John Ellis Jr. The rest of the field is going to sneak by, but this one is going to collect a couple of the heavy hitters. And Steve Korsak sits on the apron now. He's going to get that thing spun around and get it back to pit road. What I can see right now, the damage, ooh, pretty severe. Might be a fast repair. Thankfully, it looks like no terminal engine damage. That's going to prevent him from driving it back to the pits. And let's take a look at what happened here. Excuse me, we just saw that impressive move. And actually, I want to look at it before we get right to the crash here. Watch the move that Garrett Maines and Kevin Fraze put on Steve Korsak right here. I mean, this is teamwork at perfection. They're both going to pull high here, and they both get clear low before the rest of the field has a chance to get there and prevent it. Here you go. They jump high, little side draft off the 27. Big push from the 25, and just like that, they drop right back down in front of the 27. And this is where things are going to get a little interesting. Oh, the Yahoo truck behind actually got turned, so this doesn't start with Steve Korsak. I don't know why I keep saying Yahoo. It is the Nesquik truck. And that is going to be, I believe that's Delavicia. Joe Delavicia, that is. Let's see what happens to him. Take a look from the chopper view first. Ooh, and you see they're already kind of stacked up here. Watch this. Oh, that stack up right there when it put Steve Korsak in the middle. All that momentum he lost causes a stack up here with Richard Sanchez and Jason Maines. Richard not quite able to stay out of the back bumper, and then that tap from Jason Maines, all enough to clog him up. 5'10", gets a little offset to the left of Joe. That turns him down into the 21. John Ellis Jr., he gets up into Steve Korsak. They both collect Matt Lee, Christopher McCall. And then it's on from here. Does Ken McCall Jr. sneak through this? No way. Nope, sure enough, there's some slight contact. John Mullahan has it locked up right now. He's trying to get through it. He got through the initial part of it. Unfortunately, though, he wasn't able to get through the secondary little crash, if you will. And watch the 22 coming down the track with the 21. Boom, there's the contact. But he was trying to miss a spinning and sliding Steve Korosek. So not the big one, but either way, it does collect a couple drivers. We'll take one more quick view at it from the blimp. Here we go. Actually, let's take a look from TV1. The blimp's a little bit too wide. I don't think we can quite see it. Here we go. Just that quick. I'll tell you what. The 8 of Dude Conrad, who we have not said anything about tonight, he did a good job getting himself checked up in time. Avoids it. Now he's going to have a chance at maybe going to race for the lead. Going back live, your top 5. First is Garrett Maines. Second, Vicente Guerrero. Third, Kevin Fraze. Fourth, Matt Lee. And rounding out the top 5 is Andrew Navarro in the 42. Road Pro driver, Mr. Incredible, as some might call him. You see it on his picture there. See how some of the people that got damaged fared out. It does look like Nash Brambilla got his lap back. Good news for him, bad news for David Sheets because he knows he has a clean truck and he is fast. But he doesn't have a chance at winning it unless he can get back on this lead lap. They're going to get crazy, though, now, so he still might have a chance as we see Nash coming down the pits to repair some more damage. Christopher McCall's in the pits. He had to use a fast pair early, so this is all manually fixing the damage. Ambrose Kniebel in 24th. Steve Korosek, Jeff Merck. It looks like Steve did use his fast repair, and he will be in a hurry to get back to the front. Ken McCall Jr., we saw him make slight contact. It didn't look too bad. I'm not sure if he used his fast repair on it or not. But he is up to 16th, 9 spots up from where he started. And there's Dude Conrad running in the 8 truck. Not quite an 8th, but he's in 9th, up 2 spots from where he started. Running in the top 10, and he may have been on pit road totaled right now if he didn't do such a nice job making sure he didn't get into contact. One of the most aggravating things as a driver that I can tell you is when you start getting in a pileup, you get yourself saved, and then you get clobbered from a truck that was, I'm talking 200 yards plus back. It is very annoying, and it's good to see everybody out here doing a pretty professional job of not letting things like that happen. We should be getting the 1 to go this time. Garrett Maines is going to be leading the way. We would get an interview with him, but I want to go over a couple things before then. So if we get another caution, we'll get ourselves an in-race interview. It looks like we had a couple chats before then. The latest one is going to be from Karen Groover that says Steve Delavicchio, I believe is how you're saying it. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe Steve Delavicchio, if that is how, I do apologize for saying it wrong, is a little bit of a tongue twister, so thank you for helping me out. But do let me know if I'm still saying it wrong. We'll get it corrected. Let's remind everybody, though, we're right after, not quite right after this, but shortly after this, Ghost Racing Network is going to head over. This is tonight to the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Raves for the Ed William Smith Jr. 250. Going to be a good race. Excited to do it. That will be our first race for the NOMA Truck Series League. We will be taking over from what I've heard so far. Excited for it. Don't miss out. Race starts at 10 o'clock. Go back live. Pace car lights are off. We're getting ready to go green this time. Hope everybody's been having a good night. We thank everybody that is out here watching right now. And if you are enjoying, let us know in the comments. Thumbs up, whatever you want to do. I feel like we used to be a little bit more houndy about it. Doesn't bother me anymore as long as you guys are enjoying it. Can Garrett Maines finish it off? He's got a very competitive duo just outside in Vicente Guerrero and Andrew Navarro. And with Andrew not being around in a little while, he's got to be hungry for a win. And he does have Matt Lee behind him. Matt Lee's a little damaged, but will they take this 14 truck 3 wide, or do they try to push him? That's what the question's going to be. We're going to see a lot of games played here. We might even see some 4 wide, which we haven't seen just yet tonight. Eddie Hawks looks to be the highest running McCall Motorsports driver right now, and that truck's still looking clean and spiffy. And he can get up there and race because he has a fast pair in the pits if he needs it. Let's take a view of this from TV3 so we can see all the chaos that's about to ensue. Pace car pulls down below the yellow line. He heads off to pit road. Flagman has the green in hand. We are ready to go for potentially the final restart here in the dash for the Cash Series. Garrett Maines takes the green flag. We're back racing at Talladega. Vicente Guerrero gets a good restart. It's a dead heat to the start-finish line. Ooh, Andrew Navarro looks to have the better push initially. The momentum will all swing to that outside lane on the backstretch. The inside's going to have to push extra hard to hold it, but they look linked up better right now. Kevin Frey is not going to leave, who he's been helping his teammate tonight, Garrett Maines. I think he'll push him to the victory if that's what it comes down to. On the outside, Vicente Guerrero, Andrew Navarro hanging side by side, but it's not going to be enough to have any chance of getting clear just yet. He starts to pull a nose on him, but it's not enough. Don't forget, if we get to the white flag, it'll be no more cautions. Further back, already 3 wide. That's going to be Richard Sanchez, Danny Eshelman, and Donald Sadusky. How far up can they go before somebody thinks about blocking? Does Cody Nagels in the 6 jump out of line? Sure enough, he does. That puts Andrew Navarro and Vicente Guerrero by themselves for just a second. And here comes Matt Lee in the middle lane. Boy, everybody's dicing around. Jeff Merck 4 wide up top. Steve Korsek thinks twice about it. Oh, we got one turn in the middle of the pack. It's Danny Eshelman. Oh, we got one flipping. John Ellis Jr. Everybody involved, and this is going to be the big one. Trucks scattering everywhere. John Ellis Jr., Jade Dargert. Couple guys get up to speed. John Mullahan, Joey Allen, Jason Maines. Everybody's in. It looks like the 0-2. He may also have damage. I mean, this one collected just about the whole back half of the field. Let's go take a look at it. This will send us into our first overtime. I saw Danny Eshelman initially, it looked like was the first truck that got spinning here. Let's watch to see if we can figure out what happens. Watch the 6, third truck on the outside here. Donald Sadusky looks to maybe be thinking about taking it 4 wide under him. And that's not going to quite work out. Let's pause this so we can actually get a better view of it. Go to Danny here. You see Danny's already gotten turned at this point. Let's try the chopper cam. We got to find the best angle of this. Here we go. This should be a pretty good one. Yep, and it looks like Donald here is going to try to take the 6 4 wide of Danny Eshelman. Or maybe not. It kind of looked from that view like he slid up a little bit. Let's watch these white lines on the bottom and top. That's kind of a reference view. You see he's pretty low. It looks like he's kind of just coming up the track a little bit, and he gets into Danny Eshelman. That sends Danny down into John Ellis, and that just turns him on his lid right away. The 21 absolutely got no chance to even try saving it. And he starts flipping pretty wildly. And then the rest of the field scattering. That looks like the 0-2 of Seth Groover did get involved in that one. The 27, Steve Korsek, takes a big hit into the outside wall. That might be it for his truck. Everybody scattering. Nobody hits the inside wall. And it looks like after the initial crash, a lot of people just kind of bumping and banging. Let's ride on board here from Donald Sadusky's nose, or cockpit view actually, see if we can get any better idea of if he was coming up the track or not. Here you go. Right on board with the 19. It looks like he's already... So right here, I thought he was going to... Looks like he thinks about making it 4 wide here on Danny Eshelman. And you see, all right, right here, he's holding that double white. And it looks like everybody's all good. But then all of a sudden right here, it looks like he's going to try to tuck back in line. Maybe, yeah, you see him coming up the track. And I'm not sure if there's a checkup here. Dives back low. He's holding that white line again. He's diving lower. He's diving lower. And now he's starting to come back up just a little bit. Yep, so he starts to ride up just a tiny, tiny bit. That's all it took to get him into Danny Eshelman. And whoa, look at this view right here. That is not the view that Donald Sadusky wanted to see, as he just clobbered John Ellis Jr. He had nowhere to go. And there's another view he didn't want to see, as the 0-2 of Seth Groover almost got on top of him. Let's ride on board with John Ellis Jr. for this one, because this was a pretty wild ride for the 21 truck. Here you go. One more shot at it before we go back live. Just like that, the whole field piles up in it. And that is going to bring out another caution for the night, as we saw. Third caution of the night, to be exact. And going back live, Garrett Maines is still leading the way. Second, Vicente Guerrero. Third, Kevin Frey. Andrew Navarro fourth. But Eddie Hawks, McCall Motorsports driver, up 22 positions from where he started, in 5th right now. Absolutely phenomenal run right now from the 45. I'll tell you what, while these guys are pacing, getting ready to go, let's go see if we can get a quick word from your current leader, Garrett Maines. We'll be right back. And we are going to see if we can dial up.
How was that?
And we are going to see, we weren't able to find Garrett Maines as he is in a Discord right now with his team, but we are going to see if we can dial up your current second place runner, and that's Vicente Guerrero. Vicente, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I sure do.
Well, it looks like you are kind of in a sea of pros and guys that are working together. You look to be by yourself right now. What are you going to have to do here to get a chance getting the win in this thing?
I'll hold my line. Hopefully somebody's nice enough to push me. So hopefully I'll finish somewhere close to the money. At least in the money. I wouldn't mind to win 100 or something.
And one more thing here for some of these people back home that maybe wonder, if you were to get clear here, is the goal just to drop down to the bottom and ride it out? Or do you just try to block the runs and hold out as long as you can?
Well, if I'm clear, I'll take the bottom. I actually like the rocking chair. I'll take the bottom, but I'm just a little afraid that, people will get impatient or something, maybe push me out of the way. So hopefully everything pans out the way I want it to be.
All right, well, we'll let you go as you get ready to go. Hopefully we're talking to you in victory lane. Good luck.
Thanks.
And that is your current second place runner, Vicente Guerrero. And he did not seem to be nearly as concerned as I thought he'd be. And that's what you see from some of these more professional attired drivers. Vicente kind of been here, done that before. He knows how to get it done. And while he may not have teammates, he is going to do everything he can right here to try to win it. Looks like Karen Groover says, oh my, that was a wild ride. You are not kidding. John Ellis Jr. did have a fast spare though, so he is not technically out of the race, but he's going to have a lot of work ahead of him as he will be starting from 24th position. And his best bet might just be to stay back there, as I don't know if we're done wrecking just yet. These guys going to get crazy as they all want the money, but it is going to be our first overtime. If we take the white flag, that'll be it. If we don't, we will rack them up and do it again. Pace car pulls off. Row 1, Garrett Maines, Vicente Guerrero. Row 2, Kevin Fraze, Andrew Navarro. And row 3, Eddie Hawks and Matt Lee. Matt Lee does still have a decent amount of damage. We'll see if somebody wants to take him 3 wide. Patrick Groover is behind him. Garrett Maines takes the green flag. One more time to go. Sorry, one more overtime, if you will. Garrett Maines gonna fall back to the bumper of the 25. He's got to be careful though, because the 14 and the 42 are locked on right now. Ooh, that outside looking a lot more organized than they did on that last restart. Vicente Guerrero said he was going to hold a straight line. We'll see if he can hold on to it down the backstretch right here. He is almost clear. Garrett Maines, he couldn't quite do it though. Kevin Fraze pushes the 31 back out even with the 14. And it is all pushed now as we see 3 wide up top. Here comes Patrick Groover and Dude Conrad in the 8. Cody Nagel's that third truck in line. Boy, these guys are all pushing in the corner. Garrett Maines gets clear of the bottom. Does he think about pulling high? Maybe opening the bottom up to Kevin Fraze for some air. He's not going to. He stays low, and now he's not going to have the chance to. Here comes Vicente Guerrero. The top line has now fallen back to 2 trucks. White flag in the air one more time around. Garrett Maines still leading the way. Vicente Guerrero, we got one wrecking out back. It's Ambrose Kniebel up front. The 14 noses out in front again. And this may come down to the line. That third lane still not making a lot of progress. How long before Cody Nagels thinks about jumping to the top? Still 2 by 2 for those first 2 rows. Oh, Andrew Navarro's getting all out of shape. Can he hold on to it? He does. Cody Nagels lets him back in line. Bad news is that is going to stall out that middle lane. They are going to fall back a little bit. They're going to have to work pretty hard to get a run, but that might just be what they need. Momentum is going to be on their side. Coming off turn 4 for the final time. Does Garrett Maines think about throwing a block? Here comes the 14, Vicente Guerrero. On the outside, Kevin Frey's giving it one last shot, all he has on the 31. They are going to be side by side to the line. Into the trial, they are wrecking, but here we go at the line. Who's it going to be? Garrett Maines wrecks all of a sudden at the line. Who got it? Oh my goodness. What just happened right there? It goes to Vicente Guerrero. Are you kidding me? What just happened? We have to... Vicente Guerrero is going to be your winner. And it looks like the margin of victory was under a thousandth of a second. They looked so organized, and then all of a sudden, they were wrecking to the line. Here we go. Let's take a look at what went wrong here. Oh my goodness, that may have just made it into the top 3 craziest finishes I've ever seen. Andrew Navarro with a wicked save right here. Cody Nagels does a professional job of letting him back in line so that the whole field doesn't pile up. But I think it may have been Garrett that initially got turned here in the trial. Watch this. This is going to get a little wild right here. Everybody seemed to be just pushing hard. No contact was made yet. This is going to happen about halfway through the travel, so we'll start watching now. The 14 trying everything he can. Garrett Maines up a little bit. We see the 45. That's Eddie Hawks go around further back. And so does the 67 right here. Garrett Maines. Oh, looks like Kevin Frey's going to give him a little bit of a bad bump. Sure enough, that's what turns him up into the 14. And then watch this coming across the line. He's going to win it sideways. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Let's take a look at this from TV2. It was that close. It almost looks like Garrett Maines was out in front for a second. Holy cow, that was one of the closest and craziest finishes we've ever seen. Patrick Groover, Kevin Frey's also a pretty close finish. But let's go talk to your top 3, as that was absolutely magnificent. And we are still giving the top 3 a chance to get in your booth. So while we wait here, and now this is showing, hold on one second. And it looks like, and this is why we really need some official scoring, because on our initially coming across the line, data showed Vicente Guerrero winning, but it was so close. It was under a thousandth of a second. But you see here in the final results, and I'm getting word right now, initially at least, that actually Garrett Maines squeaked it out by a thousandth of a second. And that is the order we're going to roll with. So I do apologize for getting that mixed up, but it was so close I could not tell. But it looks like as it runs, it's going to be Garrett Maines taking home the win. Second is going to be Vicente Guerrero. Third, Patrick Groover. Fourth, Kevin Frey's. Fifth, Cody Nagels. Sixth, Ken McCall Jr. Seventh, Dude Conrad. And he had a good run tonight. We saw that wicked save from him earlier. Eighth is going to be Richard Sanchez. Ninth, Andrew Navarro. 10th, Nash Brambilla. 11th, Keith Horner. 12th, Jeff Merck. 13th, Donald Sadusky. 14th, Matt Lee. 15th, David Sheets. 16th, Jason Main. 17th, John Ellis Jr. 18th is going to be Danny Eshelman. Moving on down the grid, final grid, if you will. 19th, Christopher McCall. 20th, Joey Allen. 21st, Eddie Hawks, who was in the top 5 there on that last lap. 22nd, Jay Dargert. 23rd, Seth Groover. 24th, Ambrose Kniebel. 25th, Steve Korosek. 26th, Joe D. 27th, John Mullahan. And that will be your last finishing truck in the field tonight. But I just can't get over how close the finish was. Thought for sure that the initial scoring was correct, but it looks like it's not. And I mean, you saw how close it was there. It looks like maybe Garrett Maines did just barely have a nose out in front. So close that we definitely could not tell just looking at it. Let's see if we've gotten your top three in here now. It looks like, sure enough, we have. So we'll talk to your third place finisher first, rather, and that is going to be Patrick Groover. Patrick, you got a copy?
Yep.
Well, you were just a part of probably one of the craziest finishes ever. Looks like you just beat out Kevin Fraze at the line. How's it feel to come home third?
Yeah, pretty good. It's my first time getting in the money here in these Dash for Cashes, so it's pretty cool. And that was a pretty cool finish there. Looks like it was a really close one.
It was a close one. Usually we're used to seeing you and the other Groover up here battling for the lead, but you guys just could not find each other tonight. What went wrong?
Yeah, it's hard when everybody's so good. That if you're stuck on that bottom line, you're just pretty much stuck, and you can't wait for your teammates in these races like this.
All right, well, you did a good job, especially at the end there. Got all the way up to third. Before we let you go, there's anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, yep. Thanks to Jimmy for putting this on, and all of the drivers here. You guys are all awesome. It's fun to race with you guys, and my brother, he good luck to him next week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your third place finisher, Patrick Groover in the 15 truck. And now let's move on to your second place finisher, Vicente Guerrero. Vicente, got a copy?
Yes, sir. I sure do.
Well, initially, man, I thought you won it. It was so close. I thought you guys were going to come across the line side by side. Instead, you come across the line sideways. So does Garrett Maines. What more did you need maybe to just beat him at the line?
I think I needed to straighten out my vehicle. I think I was sideways coming across the line, but overall, it was fun racing with everybody here tonight, and really enjoy everybody, especially racing against Garrett Maines. I mean, how often can we say we race against some of the best here? So, um, really appreciate the effort that I put on tonight. Teammates that I was racing with over at Del Cup, Del Cup boys. We had a lobby up over there, and want to thank everybody that was in that lobby. It was good. It was a good race.
All right. Well, you did a great job tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I want to give a shout out to you for broadcasting, man. Can't wait to see this one back. I want to thank Jimmy for putting on the show, and all the drivers that make it in here and make this happen. That's it. Oh, and my wife too for letting me race this race and on she's over here waiting for me to get off, so she give me a little kiss for celebration. But really appreciate that.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your second place finisher tonight, Vicente Guerrero on the 14. And now we will move on to tonight's winner and one of the craziest finishes I've ever witnessed, Garrett Maines. Garrett, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess let's start with walk us through that, I'd say, last quarter of a lap when you guys were coming through the tribal. What happened and how did you get him right at the line?
Honestly, I think I probably initiated that whole ordeal. I kind of moved up a little bit too high going into the tribal, trying to get as much momentum through that section as I could. And I feel like I probably put Kevin in a vulnerable position where he couldn't quite square up with me without, exposing the inside. So he ended up hitting me a little offset when he went back to my bumper. It got me a little loose, pushed me down below the line, just in basically a spin. But I gathered it back up, and as I did, he squared up to my bumper again. And it kind of turned me the other way, and that time it hooked me across into Vicente. And yeah, that kind of spoiled the race for him. He was definitely going to win that race up until right then. How we both still finished 1-2 is beyond me. I thought, oh, yep, that's the race. We're done. But I look at the scoring, I'm like, oh my gosh, almost all of us survived. Do what? But it was a lot of fun. I mean, throughout the whole race, this car was like really, really touchy. If you went to somebody's bumper, you were holding on for dear life. It almost like would pivot you if you didn't square up perfectly on somebody. But yeah, it was a great race overall. Kevin was doing a great job pushing there. Just, I feel like I put him in a bad position. I don't want people thinking that was all him because I didn't exactly give him an option.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looks like you held on for dear life right to the line and one of the closest photo finishes that we've seen in the Dash for the Cash series here. But before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. I got to give a huge shout out to MCU Body and Lennox, Cover Seal, the guys at FGR, Excel, and also the guys at Victory One. We had an awesome card this week in Coke, so shout out to them. Thank you for broadcasting tonight, and hopefully we'll see you back next time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your winner tonight by just under a thousandth of a second. Garrett Maines brings it home in the 31 machine. And that is just about going to wrap up coverage. Trying to make sure we didn't miss anything. We went over the crazy finish there. We went over your finishing order, and we talked to your top 3. Want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And don't forget, right after this, I keep saying right after, but about an hour after this, we'll go take a little break. We are going to head over to the NOMA Truck Series for what is going to be our first broadcast race over there. And we are getting excited for it. It is going to be at Talladega Superspeedway. Don't miss out on it. Thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. We will see you next time. Have a good one.